Maya Chen sat at the old piano in the school music room. Her fingers moved across the black and white keys like they were dancing. The sound filled the empty room with beautiful music. She had been playing piano since she was 5 years old. Now she was 17 and in her last year of high school. For 3 months, Maya had been getting ready for the spring concert at Lincoln High School. This was the biggest music event of the year. Students from all grades would perform for their families and friends. Maya had worked very hard to get the piano solo part. She had to try out in front of the music teacher and other students. When she played, everyone stopped talking and listened. Mrs. Rodriguez was the music teacher at Lincoln High School. She had taught music for 20 years. She knew good music when she heard it. When Maya finished playing during tryouts, Mrs. Rodriguez smiled big. She told Maya that she had never heard a student play so well. Maya got the solo part that day. The piece Maya chose was not easy. It was a classical song that took a lot of skill to play. The music had fast parts and slow parts. It had loud parts and quiet parts. Maya practiced every day after school. She stayed in the music room until the janitor came to lock up the building. Her fingers sometimes hurt from playing so much, but she did not stop. Maya's parents were very proud of her. They came from China when Maya was just a baby. They worked hard to give their daughter a good life in America. Maya's father worked at a restaurant, and her mother cleaned offices at night. They did not have much money, but they saved to buy Maya a small piano for their apartment. They knew music was important to their daughter. At Lincoln High School, Maya was one of the few Asian students. Most students were white or black or Hispanic. Maya had friends from different backgrounds. She did not think much about being different until something started to happen. Principal Anderson was the head of the school. He had been the principal for 5 years. He was a tall man with gray hair who always wore dark suits. Some teachers liked him, but others did not. Some said he treated students differently based on how they looked or where their families came from. Maya first noticed something was wrong 2 weeks before the concert. She was walking to her locker when she heard Principal Anderson talking to another teacher in the hallway. They did not see her behind the corner. Principal Anderson was saying something about the spring concert. He said he wanted to make sure the right students were representing the school. Maya did not understand what he meant by right students. The next week, Maya was practicing her solo piece in the music room. Principal Anderson walked in. He listened for a minute, then asked Maya what song she was playing. Maya told him it was a piece by a famous composer named Chopin. Principal Anderson nodded but did not smile. He asked if Maya had any other songs she could play. Maya said she had been practicing this one for the concert. Principal Anderson said they would see about that. Maya felt worried after Principal Anderson left. She asked Mrs. Rodriguez if everything was okay with her solo. Mrs. Rodriguez said not to worry. She said Maya was the best piano player in the school and deserved to be in the concert. 3 days before the concert, Maya was called to the principal's office. She had never been in trouble before. She walked slowly down the long hallway to the office. The secretary told her to sit and wait. Maya's hands were shaking a little. When Principal Anderson called her into his office, Maya sat in the chair across from his big desk. The office had awards on the walls and pictures of Principal Anderson with important people. He did not look at Maya when he started talking. Principal Anderson told Maya that there had been changes to the concert program. He said her solo piece had been removed. Maya felt like someone had hit her in the stomach. She asked why. Principal Anderson said there were scheduling problems. He said they needed to make the concert shorter. Maya knew this was not true. She had seen the program just yesterday. There was plenty of time for her piece. She asked if she could play a shorter song instead. Principal Anderson said no. He said the decision was final. Maya felt tears starting in her eyes, but she did not want to cry in front of Principal Anderson. She asked who would play piano instead. Principal Anderson said that Jennifer Walsh would play a simple song. Maya knew Jennifer. She was a white girl who was okay at piano, but not nearly as good as Maya. Maya left the principal's office feeling angry and sad. She went to find Mrs. Rodriguez right away. When Maya told her what happened, Mrs. Rodriguez looked very upset. She said this was not right. She said she would talk to Principal Anderson. The next day, Mrs. Rodriguez told Maya that she had tried to change Principal Anderson's mind. She had explained that Maya was the most talented student and had earned the solo fair and square, but Principal Anderson would not listen. He told Mrs. Rodriguez that he made the decisions about school events, not the music teacher. Maya went home that night and told her parents what happened. Her father got very quiet. Her mother started crying. They had both taken time off work to come see Maya perform. Maya's father said that some people in America still did not like people who looked different. He said this was wrong, but it still happened. Maya looked at the other students who were still in the concert program. She noticed something that made her feel even worse. All the students with solo parts or important roles were white. There were talented students of different races in the music program, but none of them had big parts in the concert anymore. Maya talked to her friend Carlos, who played guitar. He told her that Principal Anderson had also changed his part in the concert. Carlos was supposed to play a song from his Mexican culture, but now he could only be in the group songs. Maya talked to Keisha, who sang beautifully. Keisha said her solo had been cut too. Maya realized that Principal Anderson was taking away the special parts from students who were not white. This made her feel sick to her stomach. She had worked so hard for her solo. She had dreamed of playing for everyone and making her parents proud. That night, Maya sat at her small piano at home. She played her solo piece quietly so she would not bother the neighbors. The music sounded sad, like it knew what had happened. Maya decided that she would not let Principal Anderson stop her from playing her music. She did not know how yet, but she would find a way. Maya looked out her bedroom window at Lincoln High School in the distance. The building looked dark and quiet. In 2 days, there would be a concert in that school. But Maya would not be playing her solo inside. Principal Anderson had made sure of that. Maya touched the piano keys one more time and made a promise to herself. Her music would be heard no matter what. The news about Maya's removed solo spread through Lincoln High School like fire. Students talked about it in the hallways between classes. They whispered about it during lunch. Some students were angry. Others were confused. Many felt sorry for her. Maya Sarah Miller was Maya's best friend since middle school. Sarah was white, but she understood that what happened to Maya was wrong. Sarah had heard Maya practice her solo many times. She knew Maya was the best piano player in the school. When Sarah learned that Jennifer Walsh would play instead, she felt sick. Sarah started talking to other students about what happened. She told them that Maya had earned her solo spot fair and square. She explained that Principal Anderson took it away for no good reason. More and more students began to understand that this was not right. Mrs. Rodriguez was angrier than she had ever been in her 20 years of teaching. She had seen many unfair things happen in schools, but this was one of the worst. She decided she could not stay quiet. She went to see Principal Anderson again. Mrs. Rodriguez knocked on Principal Anderson's office door. When she went in, she was not polite like usual. She told Principal Anderson that removing Maya's solo was wrong and unfair. She said Maya was the most talented student she had ever taught. She said the school would be making a big mistake. Principal Anderson did not like being questioned. He told Mrs. Rodriguez that he was the boss of the school. He said he decided what was best for school events. He said Mrs. Rodriguez should worry about teaching music, not about making decisions. Mrs. Rodriguez left the office feeling frustrated. She had tried to be professional, but Principal Anderson would not listen to reason. She decided to talk to other teachers. Maybe together they could make him change his mind. The first teacher Mrs. Rodriguez talked to was Mr. Johnson, who taught English. Mr. Johnson had Maya in his class and knew she was a good student. When he heard what happened, he shook his head. He said he had noticed that Principal Anderson seemed to treat some students differently than others. Mrs. Patterson taught art at the school. She also thought Principal Anderson's decision was wrong. She remembered when her art students wanted to paint a mural celebrating different cultures. Principal Anderson said no to that idea, too. Mrs. Patterson was starting to see a pattern. More teachers began talking about the situation. They shared stories about other times when Principal Anderson had made decisions that seemed unfair to students of color. Coach Williams remembered when Principal Anderson tried to cancel the multicultural assembly. Ms. Kim recalled when he refused to let students put up posters for Black History Month. The teachers decided to write a letter to Principal Anderson. They asked him to reconsider his decision about Maya's solo. They explained that Maya had followed all the rules and earned her spot. They said removing her solo sent a bad message to all students. Principal Anderson read the letter but did not change his mind. He called Mrs. Rodriguez into his office again. This time he was angry. He told her that she was causing trouble. He said if she did not stop questioning his decisions, there might be consequences for her job. Mrs. Rodriguez felt scared, but she also felt brave. She had been teaching for a long time and knew right from wrong. She decided to keep fighting for Maya, even if it meant risking her job. Meanwhile, students were getting more upset about the situation. Carlos and Keisha, who had also lost their special parts in the concert, started talking to their friends. They explained that Principal Anderson was taking away solos from students who were not white. Maya's friend David was in the student government. He brought up Maya's situation at the next student council meeting. The student council members voted to ask Principal Anderson to meet with them. They wanted to understand why Maya's solo was removed. Principal Anderson agreed to meet with the student council, but he was not happy about it. When the students asked him about Maya, he gave the same answer he had given before. He said there were scheduling problems and the concert needed to be shorter. David, who was smart and had done his research, pointed out that the concert was actually the same length as last year. He showed Principal Anderson the programs from previous years. The concert time had not changed at all. Principal Anderson got angry when the students questioned him. He said they should focus on their studies instead of worrying about adult decisions. He ended the meeting quickly and walked out. The students were not satisfied with his answers. They decided to take action on their own. Sarah Miller had an idea. She suggested using social media to let people know what was happening. Sarah created posts on Instagram and TikTok explaining Maya's situation. She used hashtags like "Let Maya Play" and "Music is for Everyone." She asked other students to share the posts. Within hours, students from Lincoln High School were posting about Maya's story. Maya felt embarrassed at first. She did not like being the center of attention. But when she saw how many people cared about what happened to her, she felt grateful. Students she barely knew were standing up for her. Parents started seeing the social media posts. Maya's story was being shared beyond just Lincoln High School. Parents from other schools in the district saw what was happening. Many of them had children who were also students of color. Mrs. Chen, Maya's mother, was surprised when other parents started calling her. These parents said they supported Maya and wanted to help. Some of them offered to call the school. Others said they would come to the concert to show their support. Mr. Patel, whose daughter was in Maya's grade, decided to call Principal Anderson directly. Mr. Patel was a lawyer and knew how to ask tough questions. When he called the school, Principal Luss Anderson was not available. The secretary said he was in meetings all day. Dr. Williams, who was a parent and also a member of the city council, became interested in Maya's story. She had fought against discrimination many times before. She decided to look into whether Principal Anderson had made other questionable decisions. The local newspaper heard about the situation through social media. A reporter called the school to ask about Maya's removed solo. Principal Anderson refused to talk to the reporter. He told his secretary to say he was not available for comment. The reporter decided to investigate further. She talked to Mrs. Rodriguez, who explained the situation carefully. The reporter also spoke to several parents and students. Everyone told the same story. Maya was talented and had earned her solo, but Principal Anderson took it away for unclear reasons. As more people learned about Maya's situation, pressure grew on Principal Anderson and the school district. The district office started getting phone calls from concerned parents. Some parents threatened to pull their children out of Lincoln High School if the situation was not fixed. Maya watched all of this happening around her. She felt overwhelmed, but also hopeful. She had not expected so many people to care about her music and her rights. For the first time since losing her solo, Maya began to think that maybe something good could come from this situation. Principal Anderson, meanwhile, was feeling the pressure. He had not expected Maya's story to spread so widely. He was getting calls from the district superintendent asking for explanations. He was also getting angry emails from parents demanding answers. But Principal Anderson was stubborn. Instead of admitting he was wrong, he decided to stick with his decision. He told himself that he was in charge and did not need to explain his choices to anyone. This decision would soon lead to consequences he never imagined. Maya stared at her ceiling that night, unable to sleep. Tomorrow was the spring concert. Tomorrow Jennifer Walsh would play a simple piano piece while Maya sat in the audience. The thought made Maya's stomach hurt. She had worked so hard, practiced, so many hours, dreamed of this moment for months. Maya got out of bed and walked to her small piano. She sat down and began playing her solo piece softly. Her fingers knew every note perfectly. The music flowed from her heart through her hands. This was her song. This was her moment that had been taken away. Suddenly, Maya stopped playing. An idea came to her mind. It was a crazy idea, but maybe it was exactly what she needed to do. If Principal Anderson would not let her play inside the school, maybe she could play outside the school. Maya thought about this idea all night. The more she thought about it, the more it made sense. She had earned the right to play her solo. Just because Principal Anderson said she could not play inside did not mean she could not play at all. The next morning, Maya called her friend Sarah. She told Sarah about her plan to play outside the school during the concert. Sarah was quiet for a moment, then she started getting excited. "Maya, that's brilliant," Sarah said. "You should absolutely do it. I'll help you." Sarah had another idea. She suggested they tell people about Maya's plan on social media. If people knew Maya would be playing outside, maybe they would come to listen. Maya felt nervous about this, but she agreed. Sarah posted on Instagram and TikTok that Maya would be performing her solo piece outside Lincoln High School at the same time as the official concert. She asked people to come and support Maya. The posts started getting shared right away. Maya needed to figure out how to get a piano outside. Her family's piano was too heavy to move. Maya called Mrs. Rodriguez to ask for advice. Mrs. Rodriguez was excited about Maya's plan. "I have a keyboard at home," Mrs. Rodriguez said. "It's portable and sounds almost like a real piano. You can borrow it." Mrs. Rodriguez brought the keyboard to Maya's house that afternoon. She also brought a small amplifier so people could hear the music clearly. Mrs. Rodriguez hugged Maya and told her she was proud of her courage. Maya's parents were worried at first. They were afraid Maya might get in trouble. But when they saw how determined their daughter was, they decided to support her. Maya's father said he would help carry the keyboard to the school. News of Maya's plan spread quickly through social media. Students from Lincoln High School shared the posts with their friends and families. Parents who had been upset about Maya's situation told other parents. The story was reaching people beyond just the school community. Local news stations started hearing about Maya's planned performance. A reporter from Channel 7 called Maya's house to ask if she could interview Maya. Maya felt nervous about being on TV, but she agreed. The reporter came to Maya's house with a camera operator. Maya explained what had happened with her solo and why she decided to play outside the school. She played part of her piece for the camera. The reporter said Maya's story would be on the evening news. That evening, Maya and her parents watched the news story about her situation. Seeing herself on TV felt strange, but Maya was glad her story was being told. The news reporter explained how Maya's solo had been removed without a good reason and how she planned to perform outside the school instead. The news story included comments from other parents and students who supported Maya. Mrs. Rodriguez was interviewed and said Maya was the most talented student she had ever taught. The story ended with information about when and where Maya would be performing. After the news story aired, Maya's phone started buzzing with messages. Friends from school were texting to say they would come to her performance. Some parents she did not even know sent messages of support. Maya felt overwhelmed, but also grateful. Principal Anderson watched the news story, too. He was angry that the situation had gotten so much attention. He called the district superintendent to complain about the negative publicity. The superintendent was not happy with Principal Anderson. The district was getting lots of phone calls about Maya's situation. The day of the concert arrived. Maya woke up feeling nervous and excited. She practiced her piece one more time at home, then helped her father load the keyboard and amplifier into their car. Maya and her parents arrived at Lincoln High School 2 hours before the official concert was supposed to start. Maya wanted to set up early and test the equipment. As they pulled into the school parking lot, Maya was surprised to see that other people were already there. Sarah and her parents had come early to help Maya set up. Carlos and Keisha were there, too, along with several other students from the music program. Mrs. Rodriguez arrived with flowers for Maya and helped arrange the keyboard on the school's front steps. Maya tested the keyboard and amplifier. The sound was clear and beautiful. She played a few scales to warm up her fingers. Other people started arriving and gathering on the school lawn. Maya looked around and could not believe how many people had come to support her. There were students and parents from Lincoln High School, but also people she did not recognize. Some had driven from other parts of the city after seeing the news story. A reporter from the newspaper was there taking pictures. The TV news crew from Channel 7 arrived and started setting up their camera. Maya felt nervous seeing all the attention, but she also felt proud. Inside the school, the official concert was about to begin. Maya could see people walking into the auditorium through the front doors. She wondered if Principal Anderson had seen all the people gathering outside to hear her play. Maya's hands were shaking a little as she sat down at the keyboard. She had played this piece hundreds of times, but never in front of so many people. She took a deep breath and looked out at the crowd that had gathered to support her. Sarah stood near the front of the crowd with a big smile on her face. Maya's parents were off to the side, looking proud and nervous. Mrs. Rodriguez gave Maya a thumbs up. All these people believed in her music and her right to be heard. Maya placed her fingers on the keyboard. The crowd got quiet. Even though they were outside, Maya felt like she was about to perform in the most important concert hall in the world. This was her moment. This was her chance to show everyone what Principal Anderson had tried to silence. As the sun began to set behind the school building, Maya started to play. The first notes of her solo piece filled the evening air. The music that Principal Anderson had banned from the official concert was finally being heard. Maya's dream was coming true, just not in the way she had originally planned. The crowd listened, in complete silence as Maya's beautiful music flowed from the keyboard. Her months of practice showed in every note. This was more than just a piano performance. This was a statement about fairness, about talent, and about the power of music to bring people together. Maya realized that playing outside might actually be better than playing inside. Here, under the open sky, her music could reach anyone who wanted to listen. No one could be excluded or turned away. Her music was free for everyone to enjoy. Maya's fingers touched the keyboard keys, and the first notes of her solo piece filled the evening air. The crowd that had gathered on the school lawn fell completely silent. Even the cars passing by seemed to slow down as the beautiful music reached the street. Maya had practiced this piece so many times that her fingers seemed to move on their own. But tonight felt different. Tonight, every note carried special meaning. Each melody told the story of her hard work, her disappointment, and her determination to be heard. The piece Maya was playing was called Ballade No. 1 by a composer named Chopin. It was a difficult piece that started softly and built up to powerful, dramatic parts. Maya had chosen it because it reminded her of her own journey. Like the music, her story had quiet moments and strong moments. As Maya played, more people continued to arrive. Word was spreading through social media that something special was happening at Lincoln High School. People were posting videos of Maya's performance on their phones and sharing them instantly with friends and family. Sarah stood near the front of the crowd, recording everything on her phone. She posted short clips to Instagram and TikTok with captions like, "This is what talent looks like," and "Maya is amazing." Each post got dozens of likes and shares within minutes. Inside the school auditorium, the official concert had started. Jennifer Walsh was scheduled to play her simple piano piece in about 30 minutes, but students inside were getting distracted. They could hear Maya's music coming through the windows. Some students started looking at their phones and seeing the posts about Maya's performance outside. David, who was in the school concert, quietly slipped out of the auditorium to see what was happening. When he saw Maya playing on the front steps with a huge crowd watching, he was amazed. He quickly texted other students inside the building to let them know. One by one, students started leaving the official concert to come outside. Then more students came. Parents who were watching the concert inside began to wonder where their children were going. Some parents followed their kids outside and discovered Maya's incredible performance. Mrs. Rodriguez was standing near Maya, watching, her star student with tears of pride in her eyes. She had taught music for 20 years, but she had never seen anything like this. Maya was not just playing music. She was creating a moment that would be remembered forever. The TV news crew was filming everything. The reporter spoke quietly into her microphone, explaining what was happening. She described how Maya's beautiful performance was drawing people away from the official concert inside the school. Maya finished the first piece and looked up at the crowd. She was amazed to see how many people were there. The crowd had grown to over 200 people. Some were sitting on the grass, others were standing. Everyone was completely focused on her music. Maya decided to keep playing. She had prepared only one piece for the original concert, but she knew many other songs. She started playing a piece by Bach that was one of her favorites. The crowd stayed quiet and listened. Between songs, Maya spoke to the crowd. She thanked everyone for coming to support her. She explained that music was the most important thing in her life and that everyone deserved a chance to share their talents. Her voice was quiet, but the amplifier made sure everyone could hear her words. A local music teacher named Mr. Franklin was in the crowd. He taught piano at a music school downtown. When he heard Maya play, he was shocked by her skill. He had been teaching for 15 years and had rarely heard a high school student play so well. He decided he needed to talk to Maya after her performance. Maya's parents watched from the side, feeling proud and nervous at the same time. They had come to America to give their daughter better opportunities. Seeing Maya stand up for herself and share her gift with so many people made them feel that their sacrifices had been worth it. More news crews arrived as word spread about Maya's performance. A reporter from the city's biggest newspaper was there taking notes. A radio station sent someone to record Maya's music. What had started as one girl's protest was becoming a major news story. Inside the school, Principal Anderson was getting worried. He could see people leaving the official concert to go outside. He looked out the window and saw the crowd gathered around Maya. He was angry, but also scared. He had not expected Maya's response to get so much attention. The district superintendent called Principal Anderson during the concert. The superintendent had been getting phone calls all evening about Maya's situation. Now he was seeing posts on social media about her outdoor performance. He was not happy with how Principal Anderson had handled things. Maya continued playing for over an hour. She played classical pieces, popular songs, and even some music that reflected her Chinese heritage. Each piece was played perfectly, showing the crowd just how talented she really was. Between songs, people in the crowd started shouting words of encouragement. "You're amazing, Maya!" someone called out. "Keep playing!" shouted another person. Maya smiled and felt supported by all the positive energy around her. Some people in the crowd started recording longer videos of Maya's performance. These videos were being shared on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. People who were not even at the school were watching Maya play through their phone screens. A video of Maya playing a particularly beautiful song got shared over 1,000 times in just 1 hour. People were adding comments like, "This girl is incredible," and "The school made a huge mistake." The hashtag #LetMayaPlay was trending in their city. Local musicians started arriving at the school after seeing the social media posts. A professional violinist who played with the city orchestra came to listen. A jazz pianist from a local club drove over to hear Maya. These professional musicians were impressed by Maya's skill and passion. As Maya played, the sun continued to set. The school's outside lights turned on, creating a magical atmosphere. People in the crowd started turning on the flashlights on their phones, creating a sea of tiny lights around Maya's keyboard. Maya looked out at all the lights and felt overwhelmed with emotion. She had never imagined that her music could bring so many people together. What had started as a way to protest unfair treatment had become something much bigger and more beautiful. The official concert inside the school was struggling. More than half the audience had left to come outside. The remaining performers felt awkward playing for such a small crowd. Even some of the performers themselves wanted to go outside to hear Maya. Jennifer Walsh, who was supposed to play Maya's original slot, felt terrible about the whole situation. She knew she was not as good as Maya. She had not asked to replace Maya, and she felt bad about how everything had worked out. As Maya finished another piece, the crowd erupted in applause. People were cheering and clapping loudly. Some people were wiping tears from their eyes. Maya's music had touched everyone who heard it. Maya realized that this outdoor concert was becoming more successful and meaningful than the indoor concert ever could have been. Here, outside under the stars, her music was reaching people's hearts in a way that felt pure and honest. She was not performing for grades or school requirements. She was sharing her gift freely with anyone who wanted to listen. As Maya finished her final song of the evening, the crowd erupted in the loudest applause she had ever heard. People were standing up, cheering, and some were even crying with joy. Maya stood up from the keyboard and bowed to the crowd. She felt tired, but also more alive than she had ever felt before. Unknown to Maya, something extraordinary was happening online. The videos of her performance were spreading across the internet faster than anyone could count. People who had filmed her concert were posting the videos everywhere. Within hours, millions of people around the world were watching Maya play piano on the steps of Lincoln High School. Sarah had been posting videos throughout Maya's performance. One video of Maya playing a beautiful slow song had already been viewed 50,000 times. Another video of Maya explaining why she was playing outside had been shared on thousands of social media accounts. The hashtag #LetMayaPlay was now trending not just in their city, but across the entire country. People from different states were sharing Maya's story and commenting about similar experiences they had faced. Maya had accidentally started a conversation about fairness and discrimination in schools everywhere. A famous musician named James Taylor saw one of the videos and shared it with his millions of followers. He wrote, "This young woman's talent and courage are inspiring. Music belongs to everyone." His post brought even more attention to Maya's story. Meanwhile, something unexpected was happening at Lincoln High School. So many people were trying to visit the school's website to learn more about Maya and the situation that the website crashed. The school's computer system could not handle all the traffic from people around the world who wanted to know more. The school district's phone lines were also overwhelmed. People from everywhere were calling to express their support for Maya and their disappointment with Principal Anderson's decision. The district office had to bring in extra staff just to answer all the phone calls. Maya went home that night exhausted, but happy. She had no idea yet how famous her performance had become. She just felt good about standing up for herself and sharing her music with people who appreciated it. Maya fell asleep quickly, still hearing the sound of applause in her mind. The next morning, Maya woke up to her phone buzzing constantly with notifications. Her social media accounts had thousands of new followers overnight. She had hundreds of messages from people around the world telling her how much they loved her music and admired her courage. Maya's parents were shocked when they turned on the morning news and saw their daughter's story as the top news item. The news anchor called Maya the talented student who stood up to discrimination with the power of music. The story showed clips from Maya's outdoor performance and interviewed several people who had been there. The story was not just on local news. National news networks picked up Maya's story, too. CNN, NBC, and ABC all ran segments about the high school student who had turned a moment of discrimination into a triumph of art and determination. Maya's phone rang constantly all morning. Reporters wanted to interview her. Music schools called to offer her scholarships. Concert venues invited her to perform. Maya felt overwhelmed by all the attention, but also excited about the new opportunities. The pressure on Principal Anderson and the school district was enormous. The district superintendent called an emergency meeting with the school board. They needed to figure out how to respond to the international attention Maya's story was getting. During the meeting, school board members expressed their concern about how the situation had been handled. One board member said that Principal Anderson's decision had made the entire district look bad. Another said they needed to make sure something like this never happened again. Principal Anderson tried to defend his decision, but the board members were not convinced by his explanations. They pointed out that Maya was clearly talented and had followed all the proper procedures to earn her solo spot. They said his decision appeared to be based on discrimination rather than any legitimate concerns. The district hired an outside investigator to look into Principal Anderson's decision-making patterns. The investigator interviewed students, teachers, and parents about other decisions Principal Anderson had made. A clear pattern of unfair treatment toward students of color began to emerge. Meanwhile, Maya's story continued to inspire people around the world. Music teachers shared the story with their students as an example of perseverance. Civil rights organizations used Maya's story to discuss ongoing discrimination in schools. Parents talked to their children about standing up for what is right. Week after Maya's performance, Principal Anderson was placed on administrative leave while the investigation continued. Many teachers and students at Lincoln High School felt relieved. They had been worried about speaking up, but Maya's courage had given them strength to share their own experiences. Mrs. Rodriguez was asked to temporarily take over some of Principal Anderson's duties. She immediately announced that the spring concert would be held again, this time with Maya performing her original solo piece. She also said the concert would celebrate the diversity of all students at Lincoln High School. Music schools from across the country began reaching out to Maya with scholarship offers. The Juilliard School, one of the most famous music schools in America, invited Maya to audition for their program. Maya could hardly believe that her dream of studying music at a top school might actually come true. A month after her outdoor performance, the school district's investigation was complete. The report found that Principal Anderson had consistently made decisions that discriminated against students of color. The report recommended that he be fired from his position. The school board voted unanimously to terminate Principal Anderson's employment. They also implemented new policies to ensure that all students would be treated fairly in school activities and programs. These policies included oversight committees and clear procedures for handling complaints about discrimination. Maya was invited to perform at the school board meeting where these new policies were announced. She played the same piece she had performed outside the school, but this time she was playing to celebrate positive change rather than to protest unfair treatment. The new principal hired to replace Principal Anderson was Dr. Maria Santos, a woman who had experience promoting diversity and inclusion in schools. One of her first acts was to meet with Maya and apologize on behalf of the school for what had happened to her. Dr. Santos also announced that Lincoln High School would host an annual diversity concert to celebrate the talents of students from all backgrounds. The first concert would be dedicated to Maya and would feature students performing music from their various cultural traditions. Maya's outdoor performance had been recorded professionally by one of the news crews. A local record label asked if they could release the recording, with proceeds going to a scholarship fund for students facing discrimination. Maya agreed, proud that her music could help other students pursue their dreams. 6 months later, Maya received a full scholarship to attend a prestigious music conservatory. As she prepared to leave for college, she reflected on how much her life had changed since that evening when she played outside Lincoln High School. Maya realized that standing up for herself had not only changed her own life, but had also created positive changes for many other students. The new policies at her school would protect future students from experiencing the discrimination she had faced. Maya's story became a symbol of how young people could create change by staying true to their values and using their talents for good. Her courage had shown that one person's voice, or in her case, one person's music, could make a difference in the world. As Maya packed her belongings for college, she looked at the keyboard that Mrs. Rodriguez had lent her for that special night. Maya smiled, remembering how nervous she had felt sitting on those school steps. She had thought she was just playing music, but she had actually been changing the world, one note at a time.